Welcome guys, Lord96 here, and today I'm going to be doing another figure review. Now, this might seem a little bit weird for you guys that have been watching my videos lately and have been, taking track of when I upload my videos and such, like, excuse me, like how my video schedule is, like when I update and everything. Because usually I've been doing it, so I've been waiting for about a week each video and such, but I really wanted to just get this review out of the way. It's my last figure in my G-Fest haul, because I've been collecting more figures over time, and I've had a pretty good collection update video I could make, so I want to get to that as quick as possible. So yeah, I felt like just getting this review out of the way. But anyway, here he is. The Bandai Showa Hedorah. Alright, so yeah, this is the Bandai Showa Hedorah, in the newest Godzilla series that was released, the purple bordered tag series, that had Jet Jaguar and 68 in it. So I guess I'll quickly go on to his card. Here's his card. It shows the picture of Hedorah when they're on Mount Fuji, when he's in his final form, which is this. Hedorah. This is below. There's him in his flying pose. Well, his second form that he can turn into. Yeah, I'll get into that in history and such. Here's his numbers, some info, and the typical Godzilla picture. So yeah, that's his card, but I think most of you have seen these cards before, because this is a pretty common figure. But as for history, well, he is from Godzilla, so I don't think I really need to go too in-depth in his history. But this form of Hedorah only appeared in the movie Godzilla vs. Hedorah, in which he was this monster that was formed out of all of the waste and pollution in the ocean, and became this big tadpole-like creature that was terrorizing the seas. And then eventually he evolved into this, I don't know what to say, but he was kind of like four-legged, like he was moving around like this. He didn't have this thing though yet. And he was just still eating off pollution, getting stronger. Like he was drinking from these smokestacks, which had big smoke from the factories. Oh yeah, and this movie takes place in Osaka, not Tokyo this time, mainly because I guess Osaka's more factory-based and has a lot more smoke and pollution and such. And then eventually his other form is he could fly, which was in that picture, in which he was kind of like this UFO, and he'd fly around and smoke, like this big poisonous pollution would be coming out of him from the bottom. And then finally he could turn into this form, which was his two-legged form, in which he had this egg sac back here, and as I said, he was standing upright, and he was very tall, and could actually move his arms pretty well, considering the suit. And he could shoot these beams from his eyes, which he could do in the flying pose, and I think in the tadpole, well, not the tadpole, the crawling pose. But yeah, that's all of Hedorah's big powers. And he can, of course, throw sludge everywhere on stuff. It's pretty nasty, considering this is a monster made of just made out of poop and fecal matter and all that goodness. So yeah, but that's basically Hedorah's history. He didn't really make another movie appearance him as the big star. He was in Final Wars, but he had a different suit, and he was only in the movie for 5 seconds just to get murdered by the Final Wars Godzilla. And yeah, they really haven't made a figure of the Final Wars version. All I think is they have a candy toy of it, but yeah, that's basically Hedorah's history. Now onto the figure itself. There's been many reviews of this figure. I know I'm not really saying much new because this figure's been reviewed to death, but again, I wanted to get my own thoughts off of this figure. So onto detail. That's pretty much the best aspect of this figure. The detail is really, really good. It's Bandai's specialty. Got this headpiece that Hedorah had. Because it actually looked like the head part of Hedorah was like a separate piece, so he could like swivel his head back like this way. So yeah, that was pretty cool. It kind of looked like Oscar the Grouch, just because of how his head was. So yeah, and then you got all this detail and all this muck and goop. You know, it has this nice transition of silver to black. I know that's part of paint job, but yeah, it still looks pretty good with the detail. Got the egg sack, which isn't on the Bandai Creation version, but I'll get to that when I pull that figure out. Got nice detail on the tail. Sorry if you can't really see that. He is an extremely black figure in some spots. Again, I really like the detail on the head. Looks very Hedorah-like. Got nice seam cracks on his head. Just overall, this is a very appealing figure to look at. He just looks very, very cool in detail. So yeah, detail on this figure is spot on. It's just great, as I've said countless times. Now, onto articulation. That's kind of annoying with this figure. His articulation is only his arms, but due to like all this skin flap that's coming off his arm, you know, like right here, it's extremely hard to move him. Like, you really need to force him out of the way. And if you actually look, he's got yellow under his arms, which he actually had on the suit, surprisingly. It's the same with this one. It's extremely annoying. Just pull the arms out like this. So yeah, you can get this kind of pose. You can't really move it 360 because, again, all this annoying flatness, which works for the detail but downgrades the articulation. And that's it. He can only move his arms, but that's actually saying a lot considering the Bandai Creation. And, so yeah, he's only got 2 points, which is okay, but, well, actually, I think it'd be, yeah, it's fine, considering it's Hedorah, who's wasn't very movable, suit-wise anyway. So, yeah. And he's in a nice pose to make it look like, you know, he could be pouring sludge on someone. Especially when you move the arms out. So, yeah. Articulation's okay. Now, as I've been talking about this version a lot, yeah, I'll kind of get the sizing here. Here was the Bandai Creation Hedorah. So, yeah, there's many different differences between this figure. The main one, this one has articulation in the arms. This guy has no articulation at all. So yeah, as I said, this articulation, at least it's a bigger improvement compared to this one. But there is an advantage this guy has over this one, and that's his height. Bandai Creation Hedorah has a really good height, to the point where it'll work with very many other figures, which sadly the Bandai one doesn't. Bandai one's really short, and yeah, and also the detail wise compared to these two figures is very different. You know, Bandai just did a really good job with the detail on this guy, and this guy's just kind of, you know, he's okay. He's nothing to write home about, but he's not an extremely bad looking figure. It's Hedorah. I don't think it's really hard to mess up Hedorah, considering all you gotta do is just do a lot of crazy etching and, you know, just pour all this black and silver and, you know, gross colors all over him. So yeah, that's what these two look like compared to each other. And since this guy was in the same line as this Hedorah, here is 68 Godzilla. Now, as I stated in the 68 Godzilla review, this does not work at all. Hedorah, as I said, much, like the Bandai Creation, he's supposed to be that height compared to, Hedorah, but this is just way short. Because, yeah, in the movie, Hedorah was just, like, that big to Godzilla. It was pretty, well, it wasn't anything new, because most monsters, I guess, are bigger than Godzilla, so yeah, this doesn't really work. I don't really know what to say, how to make this better. It just doesn't work. But another figure that does work, another short figure that I have, is King Bandai. Yeah, King Bandai is also a really short figure, so this actually kind of works pretty well. Because this probably would be the height between these two. Otherwise, Hedorah might need to be a bit bigger, but Yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. I mean, these monsters don't look like they'd go too well because, he's kind of really bright red and orange and he just looks like an Ultraman monster, and Hedorah just looks like a really grotesque thing, to say the least. It just looks very weird. So yeah, sizing wise it works, but I don't know if you'd really want to put these two in a movie or whatnot. Just be weird. So yeah, and just because I feel like it, I think this guy kind of looks cool with Hedorah, mainly because of the color, but whatever. Black King. Yeah, this kind of looks cool, I think. I don't know, maybe it's just because they're both black, but, well, Hedorah's not completely black, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I think it'd just be kind of cool if they'd fight each other or whatnot. But sizing wise, it's not really, doesn't really work again because, Hedorah's too short, but like, what can you do? Can't really change that. So yeah. But one thing I might note is there's another release of this figure. There's been a few. But the original Bandai release from a long time ago, I don't know, well, not a long time ago, but from the 90s or whatnot. It has the size of the Bandai Creation version, kind of, and it has a pretty decent detail and paint job, kind of like this one. So, yeah, if you want a pretty good mix, I'd recommend picking that one up totally because it has good sizing compared to Godzilla, and the detail is good enough to be used as a monster you can use in your movie if you want to do Godzilla versus Hedorah, something like that. And finally, onto paint job. I was kind of getting onto this earlier in detail, but the paint job on this figure is also really good. As I said, they've got a lot of the grotesque colors in here, all this, like, pea, like, yellow, and all this blood red all over the sack and everything. It's kind of gross when you think about it. All of this gross colors in there. And then, of course, it got all the nice silver and black. It has really good highlights, transitions. Even though, for some reason on my figure, this arm is, like, all black. This one's got some silver. But, yeah, I guess a lot of the paint jobs differ between figures. So you may have one that has, like, a lot of silver and, like, little black, or one that has a lot of black and a little silver. So yeah, and then of course got all the nice colors in the tail, and yeah, all over the body. Just the paint job looks really nice. So yeah, that's basically the Bandai Hedorah figure. I can't really say much because this figure's been reviewed to death, and yeah, he's just a really common figure and a really nice figure. Well, kind of. So yeah, that's basically my Hedorah figure in a nutshell, because this video is like 13 minutes. So detail is really good on this figure. It's probably the best aspect of this figure. The detail is extremely nice. Articulation's okay. It really should have been. I really think the tail should have been able to move, but hey, that wouldn't have really done much. So I kind of see what they're going for, considering, if you go for more detail, you're going to lack articulation, but if you go for more articulation, you're probably going to lack detail, but, whatever. Sorry for the glare. Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to fix that glare. There you go. Well, I already said articulation. Sizing, yeah, the figure speaks for itself. It's way too short for when it compares to the Godzilla it's supposed to compare to. It's off. But if you compare it to some of the shorter, like, Ultra monsters, it works pretty well. And paint job is pretty good on the. Well, not pretty good. It's good on this figure. It's all the nice colors that Hedorah's supposed to have. So in all, I'll probably just give this figure another just a 3.5 out of 5. He's a nice figure. Nothing to really adore, because he's nothing rare. He's just, an average, really nice detailed figure with a good paint job. Besides that, I wouldn't, call this figure amazing. So I picked this guy up for only like $10, which is pretty good. That's basically what I'd recommend you pay this guy. 15, or if you want to, 20 at the most, but anything beyond that is just crazy. Why would you pay that? Because considering this guy is still common. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time, to which I make a collection update video. So yeah, look forward to that. Anyway, see you guys later.